Hi everyone and welcome back to Matryoshka Tips channel. Have you ever been in a conversation with a woman where something she said didn't sit right with you, but you couldn't quite put your finger on why? Maybe it felt like a small comment, but deep down your instincts were telling you it was a red flag? Well, you're not alone, and today I'm here to help you spot those warning signs. Now, let me be clear, not every woman who says these things is a bad person, but when these phrases come up repeatedly, especially without any accountability or effort to communicate, they can be serious red flags. The most important thing is to trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it. So let's get started. I don't need a man, but I want one. At first glance, this might sound empowering, but let's unpack it. When a woman says she doesn't need a man, it can be a sign that she's already putting distance between you and her. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship psychologist, explains that mutual dependence is essential for a healthy relationship. If someone's starting off by saying they don't need you, they are already signaling that they don't value your emotional independence. For example, you're dating a woman who constantly reminds you, I can do everything on my own. Over time, you start feeling like you're not part of a team. A relationship should be a partnership, not a competition over who's more independent. Speaking of independence, let's move to the next red flag, which is often disguised as honesty. So, the second one, I'm just being honest. Honesty is important. But when a woman repeatedly says this after saying something hurtful, it can be a sign of emotional manipulation. For example, comments like, you're lucky I'm even with you, followed by, I'm just being honest, are meant to lower your self-esteem under the disguise of truthfulness. Dr. Robert Glover, author of No More, Mr. Nice Guy, highlights that emotionally manipulative people often justify their behavior with phrases like this. They make you feel like you're the problem for being sensitive rather than taking accountability for their hurtful words. You're out on a date and she criticizes how you dress or talk in front of her friends, then brushes it off with, oh, I'm just being honest. Over time, this chips away at your confidence, and when honesty turns into criticism, it often leads to another troubling phrase that men hear all too often. You're too sensitive. This one's a classic gaslighting tactic, guys. When a woman says this, she's invalidating your feelings and making your question your emotions. According to Psychology Today, this is a common manipulation technique used to shift blame and avoid responsibility. You tell her you didn't appreciate her flirting with another guy, and she fires back, "Oh, you're too sensitive. It didn't mean anything." Well, instead of addressing your concern, she's making you feel like your reaction is the problem. Speaking of blame shifting, let's talk about another phrase that's often a red flag. My ex was crazy. If every story she tells about her past relationships paints her as the victim and her ex as the villain, that's a huge warning sign. Relationship experts, including Dr. Ramani Durvasula, explain that people who label all their exes as crazy often avoid taking accountability for their role in the breakup. She says, all my exes were psychos, but after a few months, you notice she's picking fights over small things and blaming you for everything. And suddenly you're starting to wonder if you will be the next crazy ex in her stories. This brings us to another red flag that can often show up in the early stages of dating. I hate drama. When someone has to declare how much they hate drama, chances are they are the ones creating it. This is often a sign that she is drawn to conflict but doesn't want to take responsibility for it. Dr. Shannon Thomas, an expert in emotional abuse, states that people who frequently say that they hate drama are often involved in chaotic relationships. They thrive on emotional highs and lows, but try to frame themselves as the weak victim. She claims she hates drama, for example, but every week there is a new fight with her friends, co-workers, or family. Over time, the drama finds its way into your relationship. And while drama can be exhausting, another phrase to watch out for can be even more draining. If you loved me, you would... blah, blah, blah. This is emotional blackmail, guys. When a woman uses love as a bargaining chip, she's manipulating you to get her way. According to Dr. Harriet Lerner, a psychologist and a relationship expert, healthy love is never conditional. She says, if you loved me, you'd cancel your plans with your friends and spend time with me instead. Over time, this kind of guilt tripping can isolate you from your social circle and make the relationship feel suffocating. Emotional blackmail often leads to controlling behavior, which brings us to the next red flag. So let's see it. Why didn't you text me back right away? A healthy relationship is built on trust, not constant surveillance. If she's questioning why you didn't respond within 5 minutes, it might be a sign of insecurity or control issues. For example, you're at work and she sends a, I don't know, bunch of texts asking why you're not replying. When you finally respond, she accuses you of not caring about her. And this kind of behavior can quickly escalate into a toxic dynamic. And speaking of toxic dynamics, let's talk about another phrase that can signal trouble. I don't like your friends. When a woman tries to isolate you from your friends, it's often a sign of controlling behavior. Healthy partners don't force you to choose between them and the people who were in your life before the relationship even started. Dr. Carol McBride, author of Will I Ever Be Free of You, explains that controlling partners often isolate their significant others to make them more dependent. For example, she says, I just don't think your friends are a good influence. But over time, she finds reasons to criticize everyone in your social circle. And eventually, you find yourself spending all your time with her and no one else. Isolation is a serious red flag. But another one that's just as damaging is financial manipulation. A real man would pay for everything. This phrase often disguises entitlement as traditional values. While there is nothing wrong with treating your partner, a woman who expects you to pay for everything without contributing is showing a lack of respect for your efforts. For example, she orders the most expensive items on the menu but never even offers to split the bill. When you bring it up, she says, oh, a real man wouldn't ask his girlfriend to pay. And over time, this kind of behavior can lead to resentment. And when entitlement becomes a pattern, it often leads to another red flag. I deserve the best. While confidence is attractive, this phrase can signal arrogance and unrealistic expectations. When someone constantly talks about what they deserve without acknowledging what they bring to the table, it's a sign of self-centeredness. She says, for example, I deserve the best. But she expects you to do all the work in the relationship while offering very little in return. Relationships are about give and take, guys, not one-sided entitlement, remember. And relationships should add value to your life, not drain you emotionally, mentally, or financially. You should pay attention to what she says and, more importantly, how she behaves. And if you notice these warning signs, don't be afraid to walk away. You deserve a healthy, respectful partnership. Thanks for watching the video and give it a like if you think so, share it with a friend and subscribe to my channel for more tips to come. Thank you and see you in the next one. Bye!